Welcome back to InDesign CC 2021, Classroom and Book, Chapter 9. This is part 2 of Working with Styles. When we left off, we just went ahead and created this Urban Oasis Garden style, and now we're going to create some what's called nested styles. So we want to go ahead and create the style that will turn these elements, which look really boring and plain, into something that looks more like this, so that we are giving it the green is the first word before the colon is green, the second letter before the period is italics. And if you notice, there's a lot of them, and it's not something you necessarily want to go ahead and do all by yourself. So we can kind of automate this process. So let's go ahead and grab our type tool, and we want to grab green, the first instance of green, and the colon, because we want the colon is very important. It's going to tell the computer when to stop applying the style. So let's go ahead into character styles and choose new character style. And this one is going to be called variety. All right, now we do want it to apply it to the section. And from the basic character formats here on the left, we want to choose the font family. We want Myriad Pro. We want the style to be bold. All right, then from character color, let's go ahead and choose the medium green swatch. And we're going to say, okay. And now we want to create a second one before we can go through and do these all at once. So let's go ahead and grab Black Valentine and the period. So let's go back into trying to make sure I'm doing this the right order. All right, so we're using the type menu. We're going to go to the properties panel. We want to go ahead once again and change it to Myriad Pro. There we go. And we want it to be italic. Myriad Pro italic. All right. Now, instead of doing the style first, we're going to do it afterwards. So let's go ahead and choose new character style from the characters menu. And let's name it vegetable name. All right. We want to definitely apply it to the section and say OK. Now we're going to go ahead and deselect all and do a Control S and save. And you're going to say, that's great. Now there's 500 of these. How do I automate this process? So we're going to create what's called a nested style. So we're going to tell it to go through and do a couple of different things. Let's go ahead and go to our paragraph styles. In our paragraph styles, let's go ahead to our catalog body style. So it's down here at the bottom, and double click on it. That's going to go ahead and open it up. From the categories on the left side, let's look at drop caps and nested styles. About 2/3 down. And we're going to click on new nested style. And that first word should be where it says none right now. Let's go ahead and tell it to be variety through. And then we want through, and then we want the colon. So type in the colon. So we're saying anything that has the style variety, which has the colon. And then we're going to go ahead and make sure our preview is on. So you can see that this is what it's doing so far. Now let's go ahead and create one more new nested style. And now we're going to go ahead and choose our vegetable name. And we want it to be up to instead of through. and we want this to stay at one word. And the fourth option here instead of words should be period. And so now if we hit tab, it should have done it to our entire publication all at once. That's not right. Oh, it should be sentences. Up to one sentence. That would be why. All right, now it's doing the whole thing. So let's do a tab. And jump into another folder. All right, now it's got the whole thing. Much better. Let's say OK. Then it should close this, and all of a sudden, everything that is in here is perfect. It's totally exactly what we wanted to do. Let's do a Control S and save. And let's do a edit, deselect all. Oh, we don't need to. Go ahead and click out. And let's go ahead and do the next thing. So if you go to page 252, 253, there's a whole bunch of information about styles. Go ahead and read that. So I want to go ahead and create and apply some object styles. So far we've done styles with text. We can also apply objects like frames can also get some type of style. So let's go ahead and switch to page number 1. And let's create a drop shadow file. We're going to use our selection tool and grab this Urban Oasis Gardens. Now you're going to notice that this has been outlined. This is not necessarily a text anymore. It's been turned into a graphic. So let's go to Object. Let's come down here to Effects. And we're going to go ahead and do a drop shadow. And make sure our preview is turned on. So if you see the drop shadow, it just has the basics here, kind of how it's always set up. So we're okay with that. Let's go ahead and say OK. So now we want to go ahead and create that object style. So we're with our selection tool. We're going to make sure we've got our Urban Garden Oasis selected. Let's go to Window, come down here to Object, or to Styles, and Object. And we're going to go ahead and create a new object styles. So we're going to hit Alt or Option and hit this new object style right here, Create New Style. It's going to pop that open for us. We're going to call it Drop Shadow. And we want to definitely apply it to the selection. That way if we change it, it will go ahead and do all of them at once. And we're going to hit OK. So let's go ahead to the back panel. I'm going to take those object styles and drag them right up over here. Let's go to our page 6, and now we've got a How to Grow. And it has been outlined as well. So I'm going to go here to my object style. I'm going to get the one that says Drop Shadow. And it's automatically going to make that drop shadow for me. I'm going to go to the View Display Performance, make this look a little bit nicer, high quality. All right, so that looks much better. So really easy to apply that drop shadow to different types of elements. Why didn't that one change? No idea. Should have. Let's try this one. Huh. There must be something else going on in this page that's keeping it from. All right, let's go ahead and just do a Control S and save. I do these when I am working with things like I know everything's going to drop shadow, I know everything's going to frame. It makes it a lot easier. All right, so we want to go ahead and make sure nothing's selected. Nothing is selected. Why is it telling me this frame has got an override on it? We're going to go ahead and tell it to clear overrides. All right, now it's happy. So let's go ahead and play with some table styling. So this table right here is really kind of blah and boring. So we're going to make it nicer and a repeatable process. So let's go here to the bottom of page 3, using that. When we use tables, we have to use the text tool. So with the text tool, we're going to go ahead and select this first row. We're going to go to Table. We're going to go to Cell Options. With Cell Options, we want Strokes and Fills. And for our cell fill, Let's go ahead and choose it as green brightest and say OK. Or you can do the preview. And we've got OK. All right, with that cell still selected, let's go to Window and Styles and grab our cell styles. So Window, Styles, Cell Styles. So it's yet another thing for us to play with. I'm going to park it right over here. All right, so with cell styles, we want to go ahead and go into our hamburger menu. And we want a new cell style. Good. And we want to go ahead and call this one table head. We want the paragraph style to be head number 4. And we can preview it and see how it's going to change. Then let's go ahead and with the header row still selected, let's go to table head in the still styles. Oh, so let's go ahead and say OK. I'm going to close that up. So now I want to go ahead and apply that table head. So if I close this up, so now I've got that bright green. So now if I put, it's going to misbehave. Sorry, so we deselected. So if you get a plus sign, just go ahead and hit the clear overrides down here at the bottom. So let's deselect all and Control S to save. So now we create some stuff styles. Now let's create a table style. So let's go anywhere in this text tool. Let's go anywhere in the table to select. So I'm here in Sunflower. I've got Window, Styles, Table Styles. So I had Cell open before. So Window, Styles. We want Table Styles now. And go ahead, dock that over here. I'm going to grab Table 2 on it. Okay, so Table Styles. I'm going to go up to my hamburger menu. And I want a new table style. It's going to pop open this for me. And I'm going to go ahead and name it Garden Table. All right. And let's go ahead on our fills section. We want to go ahead and create an alternating pattern. So first one row, alternating pattern is going to be every other row. So the first one, we want to go ahead and tell it to be paper, so we want it to be white. The second one, we want it to be green, but we don't want it to be the brightest green ever. So let's go ahead and take it down to 30% and do the preview, and you can kind of see what's going on. But we haven't applied it yet, so that's why you don't see anything. Let's say OK. Now let's go ahead and apply our table. So with our type tool, we're still in there. Let's go into table and select table. Here we go. And it's going to say, what do you want to do? I want to go ahead and do the garden table. So now if I click out, you'll see I've got that look and feel already established. So let's go ahead to our page number 6, to our drop-in gardening clinics. And let's do the same thing where we've got we're in our table. Go ahead and click into vegetables. And let's go ahead in our table styles. We want to select the table first. So table, select table. Let's go ahead and apply the garden table. And let's go do a select all. So now we've got those every other. We want to make sure that we go ahead and at the top of this one with our select, make sure we apply that table head. For some reason it didn't have the head selected, that's why. All right, now let's put that table head in. Why is it not doing it? All right, so let's clear the overrides. There we go. Now it's doing it. Something else was telling it not to work. All right, so we've got that one. So I'm going to go ahead and push pause, and we will finish this up in the third part.